Hello, and welcome to Star Wars News and Weekly Comic Recap, presented by Tales from the Dark Side. This week, JJ will ask the crew if Disney is requesting a Star Wars sequel do-over. We're covering the 4 new Star Wars comic releases by only talking about 3 of them. High Republic number 7, Star Wars Adventures number 8, and War of the Bounty Hunters number 3. Also known as the better version of Star Wars number 16. Pete will tell us some ghost stories and prepare us for go ghost hunting. We will be discussing writers, talking on multiple projects and deadlines, and whether doing so diminishes the quality of their writing. I am not Jedi Johnson, and man, I can't do an intro anywhere nearly as good.
Let's get it. All right. Unfortunately, Jedi Johnson. Good job, by the way. Good try, Solo.
Yeah, you had the cadence. You had
tried
the cadence down.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Was I in the ballpark? I was
in there.
shooting for the ballpark, man. That's a tough act to follow.
It is. It seems a lot easier than it is. Unfortunately, Jedi won't be with us. He had to be honest with you, a family member that means a lot to him passed away, unfortunately. And, all of our prayers, thoughts, stuff like that, kind of tough for him. So if you see him, give him a hey. Go over on his IG, give him a thumbs up or something. But hopefully he'll be back next week. But with that, we're still here doing it. We're still hitting it hard. We got a lot of stuff. We don't have intros after that because Jedi's the only one that can do it that way. So
yeah,
you're just gonna have to suffer through us blabbering on about the normal Star Wars stuff. Let's get into the first part of it. JJ, we got this I just cave into all this stuff because we're doing Visions. I know that those people that don't know, the trailers came out for that. Thank you to Dom who sent me the English trailer. I didn't even know there was a foreign or regular trailer for it.
I posted the original. They called it the original trailer, which was the subtitle trailer at first. And I was like, oh, there's an English trailer too, a dub trailer.
So we'll go over a little bit of that. But before we do, let's say hi to everybody. Lopez, what's going on, brother? Tony, always good to see you. Ed, yeah, you should just stop watching the San Francisco Charger game because how many teams are in LA now? Is it 4? Good to see Andy too. Is it just 2 now?
Just 2.
Football. Well, we're gonna count.
Was it the Raiders?
Basketball.
The Chargers.
Raiders went to Vegas.
Raiders went to Vegas. Okay, whatever.
Chargers and the Rams.
Chargers and the Rams.
Well,
Stafford sucks.
San Francisco.
What's going on, Joe?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, the trailer was fantastic. Let's and San Francisco. It's all California teams. All right. Let's go into the vision. I have them here for you. Let's see what we got here from JJ. JJ. There we go.
Hit us with your vision, JJ.
Yeah. So I thought it was pretty cool. And then you'll have to suffer through I hope they go at the right speed and everything. I tried to make GIFs. I want to get it copyright dinged from everything from Disney or from Lucasfilm. So
don't worry, we win. We won twice already.
Yeah, that's true. True. We win in the end.
Yeah.
So basically the trailer kicks off in the panel on the left there. And that's, to me, if you catch this one segment at the start, and then right there is a great example of it. Looks exactly like a scene from Yojimbo almost. So they're definitely going with the Kurosawa feel to it. And then basically the animation in the trailer, it skipped around from scene to scene. So it didn't show you like a trailer for each episode. But I kind of like that they cut in between and everything. And the music for the trailer was awesome. I wish I could play it. But when it kicked off of that Star Wars theme, I was like, oh man, that's amazing. So and they're definitely going with kind of I think everything's going to be a little bit different as far as like the feel of it goes, but they're definitely kind of going from the music or the score of the trailer. At least it seems like they're kind of going with that like techno vibe a little bit for some of them. And then other ones like very traditional Japanese vibe.
That left side, that is like the Korean ripoff of Japanese. Like
and there's
when you see this old man, when the old man comes and he's got the 2 sabers right there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that was my favorite part right there was the blocking of the minigun blaster with the weird lightsaber shield thing he has, but looks pretty awesome.
Yeah. That's
Right
cool
there.
stuff.
I like
But,
a lot of the concepts they came up with, the new visions, new ideas. I mean, it just is really a lot of the little clips. I'm excited for it. I gotta admit, I'm really excited.
Where was the one? The one thing that I don't get, and it might just not be for me, and that's okay. Is like, oh, there it is. They got the little furry, which I you know, I know that like the
Yes.
furry type of stuff. They don't call them furries in Japan. They just whatever. But like, was it QTs or whatever they call it? Like when you get all the, you know, they do all the like,
animal crossover.
animal
stuff,
crossover stuff, whatever it's called. Not my style, but you know, whatever. So, and then what do you got here? Can you not see this, JJ?
Oh, I think he's frozen.
Cool, Frozen. So news on the English dub cast for each episode.
Oh, I didn't
I guess
know
he was mad. I guess he likes
back.
the Japanese animal thing because he
Nope,
just got
I'm
so
back.
mad that he.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Wow,
we're
you
good.
making
We're
fun of
good.
the animals.
We're good. We're good.
But yeah, so the exciting thing was the fact they announced the voice casts.
Yeah. It was.
And there is going to be, I didn't even know prior to this, the announcement and the trailer and everything, that there was going to be an English dub. So dropping it at the exact same time. So you can choose to watch sub or dub, either which one you want. And they ended up with a lot of celebrities in the cast. You got Henry Golding, who just did Snake Eyes movie. There's Joseph Gordon-Levitt. You got a little MPH, Neil Patrick Harris.
Time out. The Pete knows voice actors pretty well. Unfortunately, Jen knows them great too. But
Yeah.
Okay. When I saw,
These
I
aren't
wish Jen
voice
was
actors
here.
normally.
Jen will be coming back in a couple. What's going on, Ruben? But when I saw this, and maybe we'll have this back up to ask her opinion on it. That Gordon kid, does he do voice acting a lot?
He's done some.
Yeah, he's done a bit.
Anything good?
In the Batman. Yeah, in the Batman.
He's been in Batman movies.
animated series. He's done a couple.
And Neil Patrick Harris has too.
Harris. I know he's done some good stuff. I don't.
And David
Most of
Harbour.
the G.I. Joe guys.
Yeah. David Harbour's also done a lot, and George Takei.
Okay,
I don't want to bring up Star Trek too much on this thing, but
Allison
he's
Brie's
done a
done
lot
a
of
bunch
voice
too.
acting. Yeah.
What? He's in Star Trek?
Yeah. What's Star Trek?
I didn't know that. He's got some biography about the camps and stuff like that I've read. I don't know that. I didn't know he's part of Star Trek.
There's also
He's done
experience
quite a
voice
bit of-
actors.
Yeah, experienced voice actor. He's done quite a bit of stuff in his. I really enjoy Kay's work. He's done a lot of the voice
That
acting.
nice deep baritone thing going.
This is
picked
why
up
the
the
dark
Mark
side
Thompson
always
in there.
on the dark side with Lopez. He can't ever just appreciate the finer points of light. Yeah, right. Yeah. We're turning.
I said
think
the
we gotta-
evil word.
Yeah, I think Takai is going to be a Star Wars guy from now on.
And who's the gal second from the left? She looks familiar, but
That's
I don't know who she is.
Allison Brie. So she was
Community.
Community and Mad Men.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Mad Men. That's it.
Community was going. Cool.
And then the other gal, fourth from the right.
Lucy Liu.
Lucy Liu. Does she do? I don't.
What I thought.
She was in. What was that? Was it the Element? She was in Elementary with the Sherlock Holmes type character.
Yeah,
I thought she did a
Bill.
really good. Yeah. Oh yeah, she was in Kill Bill, but I mean, like her more recent stuff. I thought she was good there. I just don't know if her voice is good. Like,
Yeah.
It always surprises me.
Voiceover stuff too.
Yeah.
I love.
I mean, Mark
Lucy Liu.
Hamill does a great Joker. Would you thought whiny Luke would have done a great Joker? No, but it happened. So
Yeah, Lucy Liu
Well, I
is
think-
awesome.
I think
love her.
Disney's poll is a little bit responsible for a lot of the high profile actors that got to do this stuff. Because I mean, you ever watch? I'm sure everybody's seen a Disney movie at some point, a modern one that they pull in big name actors to do the voices. So
this is kind of interesting, though. So a lot of this is going to be anime, right? And a lot of it's going to be originally in Japanese.
Mhm.
And I see one Japanese-based actor voice acting here.
well, it's not that unusual for an English dub cast to be, mostly American, because that's what they're doing.
In
They're
anime,
doing
is that it? Because even in
anime.
the old movies, when they cross it over, it's typically like when the Koreans will do a film, they'll use English-speaking Koreans to do the dub over.
in anime they'll actually even sometimes rework the frames to make the voice match the movement a little bit better and stuff. So so
Cool.
in the anime, it's quite common for you to have like an
Sean?
all English voice cast, but.
Well, so one dude's British.
And it seemed like from the trailer too, if you watch the English dub trailer, they had one or two sections in there where I don't know if they'll do it in the final thing or not, but they kind of had some Japanese mixed in with the English dub because of the one gal says, "May the force be with you" in Japanese, even in the English trailer. So
Yeah,
maybe they'll make it like a Star Wars language. I don't know.
Hey, Sam. Well, we'll have to have Sam back on to review this when we get out there because he's a big. You and him, I think, are just going to geek out on the stuff. It looks really good. Just real quickly, I think High Republic. I think actually Illuminary scooped Sutton on that when they said it's a multimedia event, the High Republic, which means they were going to come out with a TV show and a movie on the High Republic. So that's an old rumor that I guess coming back around. Because people need content, so there we go with that.
Is
Either way,
it even a rumor if they announced that they're?
No, it's not a rumor. They announced that they were going to do it like a long time ago.
They didn't directly say it, but I think everybody and their
they said multimedia, more than books and comics. So what are we talking about here?
Maybe they need talkies. They got
radio. Yeah, they got radio. They're gonna put out records like the old. I love those record books, though, man. I really do. That's the only thing.
They do have an audiobook, an all audiobook coming out. The Laura D book on 31st.
I gotta figure out how to get that stuff to work, man. All right, hey, we're gonna have a book review next week because I promised that I'm gonna read a book in 2 hours. So I'll do it. All right,
like a novel book, not like a comic book.
No. Yeah, like another novel. You guys were like, I didn't think you guys were gonna read it that fast. That's the problem. I was like, oh, I got some time because you guys usually don't catch up.
Oh, I've been dragging my feet. I still haven't finished it yet. I'm like 3 chapters away.
I'll read it to it on audio again.
Yeah, I'll get through it, man. It'll be all right. I gotta go buy it though. That's the problem. What is it called? Which one was it called? I'm trying to get the Target one. Out of the Shadows. I've been trying to get the Target one. I've gone to 5 Targets. They've been sold out at all 5 Targets. Which I said, I know you said they're by you, but like
like when I checked the stock thing by me, like almost everybody had at least a couple copies or whatever. If it's accurate, I don't know if the inventory.
Yeah, I mean that's Target. Is Target ever accurate? All the time. No. Speaking of reading. We have a couple new comic books to review this week. There's one. I mean, and we're going to get into this a little bit later in a segment called Same as Same, but we're going to start off with some of these. We're not going over Star Wars, the main title, because it's the same book. It's the other book. Star Wars, The High Republic Adventures came out. Once again, a pretty great read, especially now that they're like capping their art down. And we got Tall. We do a little bit more with Master Tall here. They do kind of crap on him, right? Like, so at the end of 6, he was like in one panel and they said, every young Jedi loved him and looked up to him. He has the greatest advice of all time. At the end of this book, they're like, yeah, his advice sucked. This is kind of 6 and 7 was kind of a crossover mingle. And by the way, if you got 6 for the first in there, you might want to grab 7 because, we're having a conversation about different character and how sideways people put that stuff. And even though there are some first in here, you just might want to pick this one up. So we got a little bit of In the Cage. We have a flashback here. To be honest with you, there is a couple firsts in this one, like 100% first. We've got both Jara Mali. She's the one that died when she was in the plane and she blew up. Mm-hmm. But you got, but the other character you have, this guy that looks out of place, the blonde dude, which is Ra. He supposedly fell off of a tower because of exhaustion in one of the books. So we don't know, but that character might or might not show up because what's interesting is even though she blew up and he apparently fell off, these other 2 characters, Yoda's not dead and they think he kind of is or missing. And are we giving away what happened with... I
couldn't figure out, I assume he's not, because this is a flashback we're looking at here, right?
Yeah.
He's not dead at this point? Or
he would not be dead at this point. Yeah, he wouldn't be dead at this point. So. But we get some other cool stuff too. I mean, we go back and we get a little bit more on Master Gil, which is cool because how this book ends, I think. Yeah. They show him break out. He comes out. I clipped these two parts together. So he saves the Hutt's emissary pretty much. That was still 6. He was starting to do it. They finished it off here in 7. She goes, we'll go talk to the Hutts and tell them that you guys aren't the bad guys. The other half is back on the vessel. And on the vessel, they're just throwing down. There's a great scene in here, I think, because we're all fans of Geode, where they actually have this like back and forth, like, we're going to kill the rock. We're going to shoot him. And then they like go to like, what are you going to, you're going to shoot a rock? Like, that doesn't make sense. And I was like, okay, that's kind of whatever. But this part down at the bottom, I thought was really cool. So I showed it off. But that's Master Gil wakes up. Remember, he was supposed to be sleeping for 7 years. Mm-hmm. He wakes up and just slices and dices dudes left and right. So... kind of cool. I didn't know
he had like purple lightsaber.
Mm-hmm. He's got purple, green, blue, yellow. I think he had a pink one at one point.
He's going all Grievous on him.
Mm-hmm. Pretty cool stuff there. 7 was a good read again. It was fast, it was easy, and it had some exciting stuff. They did have one of these, JJ's favorite pages, and they're growing on me.
I like those.
I do too. The only problem is where they put them. And I wish that they do like maybe make it into like a mini file, like an actual file where you get like three pages and they could split it up.
I'd like to see him like release like a source book or something at the end of the series, maybe, or
that'd be cool. That would be really cool. Yeah, like those. Remember they used to have those Marvel. What were those things called? Marvel updates or whatever.
Well, they used to do the guidebooks too.
The
guidebooks, yeah, Marvel Universe, yeah. So we get 3 Hutts down here. None of them are really, really new. The first one, what's her name? His name, Sakara. That's more the basis of it. Sakara Boa.
Something like
you
that.
saw him / her, and you saw it in 6. And for all of us that love Hutts that have over muscular body parts, remember Grekus knocked out Luke with like the biggest arms you've ever seen in the world. Yeah, his gun show is ridiculous. He does have, but he shows up a lot too. He shows up in the Poe book and a lot of other books. But then you get Jabba. So they're having the back and forth. Turns out that Jabba actually was setting up the other Hutts because he didn't want to team up with the Jedi. And then all of a sudden, Sleepy McSleepbags Gil wakes up and says, "Nope, you have to trust my little Padawan." And by the way, they're going to negotiate a great deal. And then we get the other masters up in the corner again. Next up is Star Wars Adventures, a book we're not going to review the first half of because thank God that storyline's over. I will tell you this: pretty much Luke and Leia saves a bunch of Furbies. Right? There's a draft. Puff the Magic Dragon shows up for some reason. For no reason at all, Puff the Magic Dragon shows up, and then a bunch of Furbies. They just hang out with a bunch of Furbies. The second part of the story, however, it was pretty interesting. They get on this planet, and it's a little bit back to the Clone Wars. There's a little negotiation. There's a trooper that we haven't seen before called Jumpy. There's also another trooper here, though, that's very, very interesting. We'll get to it. Either way, a saboteur is trying to break up the peace negotiations. Oh, no, we saved everybody. We're trying to find out who it is. They finally capture it. We shortened that out a little bit because there's a lot of more stuff in here. This is the interesting part. He calls the guy CT2, which would be Clone Trooper number 2, which would be CT002, also known. He's part of the Infernal Legion back in the day. His story is interesting because he was one of the clones that when Order 66. Now this is legend still a little bit. It's like rumored canon, like it hasn't been official canon yet. But when they had cast 66, he was one of the ones that didn't actually started protecting the Jedi from the other troopers, like was fighting back. And most of his squad died. He didn't. His story goes that eventually they caught up with him. Other troopers did. They froze him in carbonite and threw him on Tatooine. And then he defrosted like Captain America. Went on and did a couple of other things. But like, it's very interesting because he has a lot to do.
I am totally unclear on how that one works out. You get frozen carbonite, but on Tatooine you can melt except for in Jabba's palace.
Yeah, no, I mean I don't think that's exactly how that happened.
Was in the shade.
Kind of a joke. It's kind of, but also that's when everybody's like, "Oh, the old stuff in Star Wars is so great." You're like, "Yeah, right." And a clone trooper defrosted on Tatooine. So,
clone sickle.
Yeah,
some of those legend storylines
are. But either way, it's kind of interesting because he has a lot in common with the current day, the last clone trooper, who got frozen in stasis with Dooku. We don't know Jump's true deal, but at the end of this storyline, which makes it interesting, I guess, is the attaché to the mayor turns out to be talking with Dooku, and it looks like they're going to that one of these two troopers, and I think everybody thinks it's Jumpy. I'm thinking it might be that they might redo the CT2 storyline because Jumpy.
I couldn't help but notice the red eyes too. Is she supposed to be like an actual Sith?
What red eyes?
Doesn't she have red eyes?
No, I think you took the picture wrong. You got put in the eye filter. Either way, the next adventure's got a Mace Windu story in it, so that should be good, and probably some Dooku stuff, which I think we're all ready to get a little bit more Mace Windu in our life, right?
Yeah,
I think he's a good character. Find out if
he's ready for no more Luke and Leia stories.
Oh my god, the Furbies was just terrible, dude.
Oh, that was bad.
Speaking of, they still do the villainy stories for both half the book.
There wasn't a villain in the first half.
No, both halves of the book.
Oh yeah, they should do. Yes, villains
Yeah.
is both halves of the books. Yeah, yeah. Well, because it's the villains. Yes, and that's weird too that they don't do villain covers for both half of the book. That the actual B and RI cover, which by the way, they've been terrible on sending those things out. They haven't come out on the right books. They've showed up on other books. The descriptions have been all a mess. I mean, hopefully,
Well, this looks like they're playing catch up because they're releasing them like week to week now. But I think it's like 2 months behind or something, isn't it?
It is. It is about 2 months behind. Yeah. So, but next up, speaking of books that were terrible or storylines, Star Wars 16. So we'll just talk about War of the Bounty Hunters, which was like the better version of Star Wars 16. War of the Bounty Hunters #3. Also had some cool covers. Are you guys look? What are you guys buying the IG88 connecting cover for? What is chat buying that for? I can't believe it.
Buy it for under 10, probably.
Yeah, I can't believe what the store wanted. What's going on, Shannon?
I like a good connecting cover, but these just aren't really.
$25 for that? No.
Yeah, I like them, but man, for these prices that they're trying to get off them,
I'm good.
Between that and the wanted posters, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
I got the Declan Chevalier. Is it Chevalier? 1 in 50 for $25. So there's no way I'm paying $25
Zach,
for the IG88.
Yeah, you like the. I actually like the 1 in 25. Yeah, Zaggy liked the A cover. I thought that was okay, but I didn't think it was good as I like the actual the credit or the bounty hunter covers, like the wanted covers.
Yeah,
that's kind of my favorite covers out of all of them.
That's the only cover I bought for 16. Was a Nakayama.
No, it's not a Joe. It's not a 1 in 25. I don't even think it's a 1. Is it a 1 in 10?
Yeah, the connecting cover, the card connecting cover is, yeah.
It is a 1 in 25? All right. Well, that makes sense why it was 25. What was the other one, though? What was
1
the
in
red
50.
1 in 50? Nice.
Mm-hmm.
It has a discount code. Sure, it does. Everything does over there.
No, it's a discount code for Wookiee Vision, is what he wrote.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. This is Bounty Hunter 3. We start off where we left Bounty Hunter at, but we got a lot of Boba. Actually, it's kind of missing Jedi because I was going to ask him. This one, unlike the other one, had a lot of the Boba stuff in it. The other one was just like Leia crying, "Where's Luke?" But here we go. There's a little back and forth with him and Chewbacca. I thought this was great, dude. Did you guys think this was good?
Yeah.
Where they start getting a fight?
He prompts him with the Wookiee tassels.
Oh, yeah, right here where he's like, hey, listen, see these? Maybe you're familiar with them. Could have been your uncles and aunts. Ooh. Right, you're not the first Wookiee I've fought. Yep. All right, so they go at it. He gives them into like the leg cross and then gets slammed. Chewbacca's actually winning this one until... Yeah, he didn't have the rocket either. And he's telling him to keep it down, so he's not trying to use anything too big on him. Mm-hmm. But then he sets him on fire. And Lando has to ruin one of his capes to put it out, which I thought was kind of cool. I also like the coloring and the art in this book, to be honest with you. I liked how it was just a little bit different.
Yeah. Very bright. Star Wars book. You don't see that a lot.
Especially for a main title. You kind of see it in the Adventures of Joan. Buku tries to get involved again to try to tempt Vader, and Vader goes, "Who's this?" And Jabba goes, "Yeah, no one." So Buku for you, that's 18-pack where Gruckus in the background.
I'm a little disappointed we haven't gotten any one-liners in this book on that yet.
I know. Well, if you look what's funny though, if you look right at the picture of the Hutts, right? So you've got Buku or whatever here in the front with his 18-pack. Then if you go next, it's Jabba behind him. That's I think that's not Zero. That's somebody else behind him, but way in the back with the big arms. You kind of see it. It's Gruka in the background with the big arms. So they got abs and arms there. That would be a great mix if you put them together.
Yeah, either way, done like a Predator homage and had like the handshake that Arnold and Carl Weathers does.
Right. So the Hutts decide not to fight with Vader. So then Vader tries to go, but Kira still's like, "Listen, you still owe me money, dude. I don't care who takes it." And then she does this. I was like, "Oh, she's got badass now. All of a sudden, she can fight with whatever these are. These look cool.
They look like miniature electro staffs.
Ready to dance.
They did, but they were like red. So they're red electro staffs because usually electro staffs are like the purplish blue or blue. Yeah. So she's got whatever these knife electro staff.
Well, those
fire staffs
have
are
like the electric red.
No.
All of a sudden, she's Red Nightwing.
They sold some toys that had red light up things.
Yeah. I don't know. These seem pretty sweet. They also got a feature on the bottom of them that let little bombs go off. So that's cool. And you can snap them together. This scene right here, the second scene over on the top left, that's like straight out of Maul fighting a young Obi-Wan.
Mhm.
You remember that? Like he was doing this. And, yeah, it just comes right over. And then not only did they do that, then they do a New Hope. So they did 2. So then they did
Empire.
New Hope. Empire. Sorry, yeah, an Empire scene where Boba has a
Even
flashback.
that, like, so Lando had him dead to rights at Empire and shot at him and he deflected it, but like unless he's fighting somebody, he could probably get a bot shot in if you really tried.
Yeah, maybe. But he decides not to, and then Vader just starts slashing everybody, and then he feels Skywalker. So, which not him, Skywalker, the other Skywalker. Skywalker feels him. He ends up saying, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna slash Han Solo," and that's the end of that. It was a pretty good book. I like that one. No. Either way, coming next week, we've got Vader, which is good because that's probably one of the better ones by Pack right now. And I also like I said, not all these Sprouse covers, but this is a good one. I think the Maul one. I think people are going to be looking after that one.
Yeah.
We've got another Wanted Afro. We've got a Django, which Django for years didn't sell that well with a little bubba on it. I have a feeling that that's going to change. We'll see what happens this week. But over the last 6 months to a year, I think Django's been getting a little bit more play. So we also got on FOC this week. We've got Vader, of course, with the Terror. I don't know. You guys think that cover's good? My opinion is it's not. But
the
Vader?
Yeah, the Vader.
Yeah,
Vader.
it's terrible.
Okay. But somebody will like it. We got the Dirge.
Weird.
We got the old Dirge in Dark Horse.
The original Clone Wars, Marco's favorite version.
I love it.
No, that's not what he looked like in the. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
That is. That's
and also what Ventress looked like. Because that's
she had a little bit skinnier legs and her eyes were a little bit different. But yeah, no, the original Clone Wars. I'll give it to you.
3 for me, please.
He's got a lance because that makes sense. But then what is the name of IG-88's craft? Does anybody know offhand?
IG-88 ship.
Cool.
Disney's changing it all. That's
IG-88 Starship
ship.
All right, there you go. See, no, but that's a great point right there. Nobody knows the name of the ship. It's IG-88 ship. Okay, but we're going to be hurt when they change it. We're also getting this series that I don't think we ever needed.
It's just a one shot, right?
Yeah, apparently they thought we did. Was the and we're getting Valence's ship too, which has got no name on it, but the Bosch series. Okay,
I like that 1 in 25 cover.
I do too. I'll tell you this: they've done pretty good. Like the Hutt one's done all right already. You know what I mean? Like they're one shots. I liked Forlom and Zuckus's one shot too. Those are actually some of the better books that are coming out of this series, so I pick it up. Also on FOC is The Monster on Temple's Peak, part number 2. I don't know, man. Is anybody going to buy this, or are we going to just wait and get the trade paperback like it was supposed to be written?
Did anybody find the first one?
I'm still going to buy the individual floppies. Yes.
All right.
I can't find the first one.
First one sold pretty well.
Did it? All right.
Yeah.
I couldn't find it. Nobody around here had it.
Speaking of this, if you aren't looking on the FOC, well, maybe they're not watching us. Tell them to tune in so they can see what's on the FOC so they can order stuff. Last week we told you that the Hutt FOC probably would be an interior page. It wasn't, but if you looked at IG like we told you to, as soon as it came out, we popped this off. And it's a cool cover, right? Mm-hmm. It was good.
I like it. I'm not really a big design cover guy, but I like this one.
I wasn't either, but I actually think this one's not so sloppy. And it's kind of cool to show because they haven't shown you everything about her. Like usually they come out with these design things and like you know everything about the character already.
Yeah.
What's with the ears?
I don't know. I didn't get that part.
I don't
know if it's like to show off the earrings or weapons or something. Yeah, I don't know.
And then she's got 3 ears instead of 2.
Yeah, why is it 3 ears?
Yeah, where's the
why
third
is her jaw unhinged like the guy from Blade 2?
Well, that she does apparently.
Well, yeah, that she does apparently. Yeah, and apparently on her legs she just has scales that she can throw out.
Yeah. Those like throwing knives. Is that what the stuff on her legs is? That seems inconvenient location.
Yeah, maybe. So I don't know. Either way, it was very popular. A lot of people thanked us on the IG, so we figured we'd show it to the people that didn't, and hopefully you can call up your stores, and hopefully they ordered some.
IG 2000 is that the name of a ship?
No, it's a Nimbus 2000.
No. Nimbus 2000.
Yeah.
What?
IG-88, his ship, isn't it the IG 2000?
I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I can pull up the game. Is that what he says?
That's what
it sounds right. I can pull up the game I play that has that ship in it and look it up, I guess. Either way, so that's that. That's it for comic book reviews. Hope everybody gets what they needed out of that one. All right, next up we've got, I believe Tony is correct too. Yep. IG 2000. It does sound right. Next up, we
Sounds like
have
Terminator.
Oh, we gotta. Hey, so we're doing a little thing. Make sure for all the people that watch this, right? Make sure you're also subscribed over there. Renovate. I actually did. You tell people what you're gonna give away for 1,000?
I just filmed it today, so I'll drop that tomorrow.
If you
To
like
explain what I'm giving
slabs, make sure you get 1,000 people subbed over there. Don't tell them, Pete. Don't make them watch the video. I'm just giving them a little teaser. I'm just giving them a little teaser. If you like slabs,
Come on, tease him one book.
he just
Show
said
him
both.
one
He just said both. So there's multiple slabs being given away for 1,000.
I'll show one. The one
Yeah.
slab.
Done
It's
said.
Star Wars related.
Star Wars related. There you go. Here, let me put it up there.
giving this one.
Oh,
So he's good. So I
will
won't be on the show that week, so I can win this.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to win this one. Hey, Joe, thanks a lot. Joe, it's good to see you.
Thanks, Joe.
Which beard?
Not mine.
I assume it's Solo's, but we all have beards.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
there we go.
I know it's not my scruffage that I've just grown out for like a week here.
Joe gave us $9.99 super chat. Said just because the beard is so epic. Thank you, Joe. We really do appreciate it.
That's all solo.
Yeah, it's got to be solo beard. All right, so that's it. But there will be other stuff that he'll be putting up that he's giving away.
Right.
I think the last we checked, you were at what 969. So we're right around the corner there, guys, from getting Pete 1,000 over there on Renovision. Plus, he's doing good stuff. Speaking of that, we're going to do a little crossover segment. One of the regular segments that he does over, one of the regular shows he does over there is.
I need one of those pretty bad. I might have to make a couple. You're at 996. I might have to make a few dummy accounts real fast here.
When you see Solo Wookiee 1 is
2,
the winner.
3, yeah, it's Solo Wookiee 2. 3, 4. All right, yeah. So he has a segment or a show that he does over there. It's really cool. I enjoy it a lot. It's called Chasing Ghosts. It used to be a thing he wrote years ago for CBSI.
No, I never wrote it. I got the idea. Ben Stein used to.
Oh, Stein's thing with Chasing.
Ben Stein used to do an article where he was talking about ghosts, and I just felt like there was a lot that I was looking for. So I said, "Why not? I'm just going to do a show."
Yeah, cool.
Nobody else is talking about them, so why not?
All right. Hey, what's going on, Secret Check? So, do you got it ready?
I do now.
Good. We're giving you the little raw roll.
There we go. So normally what I do every Tuesday, I'll pick out a few books that are potentially ghosts. I mean, some of them are just hard to find. I make a qualification after I look at what's out there, check the census, you check kind of print runs, estimated print runs, what's available for sale, and what's been sold, and just kind of make a judgment call. But in either case, we're still talking about hard to find books. And for today, I decided to cover 3 specific ones, special, since we're talking about Star Wars. So let's talk about a few special Star Wars books for a little, Star Wars special, if you will, for Chasing Ghosts. I'm also going to be covering a supersized version of this for Tuesday, also doing more Star Wars books. So even though we're just doing a special 3 for tonight, on Tuesday, if you check it out, I got a few more Star Wars books to talk about. One of which JJ suggested, which is one I've been looking out for, and I still haven't found one for a price that I can afford. But you got to check out
got my
Tuesday to find
copy.
out which one.
Yeah, I don't think you guys should send that book out yet. I think you should find a copy for.
I'm never going to buy most of these books. I'm never going to buy anyway. So
They're hard.
I'm not going to hold the information ransom until I buy everything for myself, because you guys will be waiting forever. But the first book, I'm going to dive into these Dark Horse 1000, or no, it's the Dark Horse 100. They print 1,000 copies. 100 stores got, 10 apiece, I think, that they gave away.
Yep.
The first one for the Star Wars Dark Times was in November 2006. So print run is easy to figure out, because they say it's 1 of 1,000. So it's 1,000.
Printed on the cover, right? I think.
Yeah, it's right on the cover. It says 1 of 1,000. But you check the census, not a lot in the census for this book, considering there's 1,000. I mean, it's only 71 total. I know the print might be a little small for you guys to see on your screens, but 55 9/8, 696s, 394s, and a smattering of a few more, but basically 71 in the census for this book.
Yep. And hardly anyone bought Dark Times.
Yes.
That I know of. So.
Yeah, I wasn't a Dark Times reader personally.
Yep.
I mean, even with the rarity, I don't think this is a book most of us are hunting down.
This is an odd one, though. Like, if you look at right now, when I went to check, or like a day or so ago when I put this together, this is what's out there. A selection of what's out there. I don't know if this is all 5 copies, but this is 5 copies. This is anywhere from $350 to like $600. People are asking raw and some even 9/8 mixed in, like same price. Like raw is $585, 9/8's $500, 9/8's $500 raw. Like they're asking $350 to like $500 for this, raw or graded. That's the ask. You really many choices unless you find it in a shop or a store or at a show, but that's what's out there.
Maybe a Walmart pack.
Yeah, is it in the Walmart pack?
Yeah.
You think of the Ahsoka?
Look at what's sold. Like when you look at the last couple that sold, one bid $40.
Yep.
Buy it now, $50.
That's why I love these Dark Horse variants. You can slip one past the goalie every so often and get them pretty cheap.
Yeah, you can slip a couple.
Yep.
So, I mean, you make your decisions. I'm not recommending anybody buy any of this stuff or not. I'm just reporting what's out there. What's out there, what's sold. Just giving you the facts. You make your own call what you want to do with this. But that was the first one of the Dark Horse 1000. Then they did two more. The second one, everybody knows this book.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows the Clone Wars one. I wanted one. I tried to get one before it blew up, and I failed.
I almost wonder if this book hasn't boosted the other Dark Horse 100 books. Because I almost wonder if anybody before this knew what a Dark Horse 100 book was.
It had
This book wasn't necessarily cheap. Like out of all the Dark Horse 100s, this was the book. This was the one that people actually pre all the hype knew about and liked. Like this was the hype. Book.
Like 3 months before the hype started, I had a chance to buy one for like $700 or $600, I think it was. And I was like, it's too much. It was a 9/8. I was like, it's too much. I don't think so.
It's way too high. That's crazy.
I'm a moron.
We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah,
I did the same thing with
the mistake JJ made there.
Yep.
But no, I did the same thing. I was trying to get this raw for like 300. Like I was
300.
like topping out. I was like 300 is like the most I really want to go for this thing. Maybe 350. Man, but again, print run, easy to figure out. It's 1,000. Says it right on the cover. One of 1,000 copies. This is a Dave Filoni cover too, I believe as well. Census is a little bit more stacked on this one with 223, and it's not as top heavy in 9/8 as the rest. I mean, 81 of those 223 9/8s, but then you got 70 9/6s, and then so on and so forth. But 223 isn't a small number, but it's still only what, quarter of the run, thereabout. Yeah. So still plenty out there to be found or purchased, I guess, if people put them up for sale. But that's where you run into the trouble. Listed for sale, 20 grand for a 9/8.
Jeez.
16.9 for a 9/8. 6,500 for a 9/4. Those are your options right now, fellas.
Yeah. I'll trade you my 2019 Dodge Ram truck for a Clone Wars one in 1,000.
Exactly.
Jeez.
Craziness. And I don't have the exact prices because a lot of these were best offers for the sold, but you got to imagine that they weren't bargain basement prices. So 9/4 best offer on 6,800, 9/8 best offer on a 20 grand ask. Who knows what they accepted? 16 grand. It looks like there was a 9/6 SS that was a best offer on only 4,400. That might have been a deal back in June. Who knows? Crazy prices, but definitely not a book that I can afford anymore. So I don't even can call this a chase anymore.
Yeah, it's gone now.
Look at the ghost. And then we just got one more of these, and this is Invasion Rescues, because I think there's a couple of Invasion series, and they did this. Apparently, they did this every 2 years because this one came out in May of 2010. But again, same deal. Dark Horse 100 says it on the front. One of only 1,000 copies. So again, we know the print run or the estimated print run, I guess. Definitely not a lot in the census for this one.
Wow.
12. Only 12 people decided to grade this thing.
Like I said, people blow by them even though it's printed on the cover and everything. It's weird.
Yeah. 8 9/8 too out of that 12, but still only 12 out of 1,000 graded. I think this is one that gets slipped by people that you're just not going to recognize unless you see it all the way at the bottom of the page. Of 1,000 copies, where you recognize it. Well, I guess at the top too, the Dark Horse Special Edition, but it's different cover art, so maybe it catches your eye. Not as easy to find this one though. Only one I could find was 630, but looks like a graded copy. So not a lot out there. Because
I bet you a lot of that. I bet you this one gets overlooked. Yeah, this looks like one that gets overlooked a lot.
And then you got the sale, best offer on $500 for a 9/8. back in June too, and that's it. That's all that kind of popped up when I was checking sold for this thing. So
that person that bought that one has to be like me, or they're like, I want all the Dark Horse variants.
exactly.
And
And they
if
found
you,
one because there's not a lot
I
out
didn't-
there.
Nope.
I didn't even know this existed. I'll be 100% honest.
Neither did I. I knew there were Dark Horse. I knew there was a bunch of Dark Horse 100s because they did it for a few years, but I didn't know all the books. But for Star Wars, it's the 3. And since they all have the same kind of print run, I'm going to give them all the same qualification. So
Ghost all around.
ghosts all around for these 3.
Zoinks!
all right, we got about 60 live. If you guys give us a thumbs up, we appreciate it. Ed, you said cool segment. It is a very cool segment. Pete does Ghost every Tuesday, right, Pete?
Yep, every Tuesday. And I got more Star Wars for this week. So you guys want more Star Wars, watch this week. I'm
It's
doing
coming up in-
6 books.
So
Where I
make sure you
normally do 3 or
guys
4.
go over to Renovision. Renovision, show me your shirt so they can see it, so I don't have to spell it with the 2 N's. Go over to Renovision to make sure you're subbing over there so you get your
Or the glass.
notifications. Or the glass. Or anything else. Maybe he'll give away a glass. We'll see.
I might actually. And a shirt in the 1,000 giveaway. I'm going to throw in a shirt, possibly glass, some magnets, some merch.
Catch that What If Wednesday episode from last
Oh
Wednesday.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where luckily I was on Pete's channel and I didn't
Oh,
get
yeah,
it off YouTube, so that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, we did. Yeah, Wednesday, me and Pete usually do a show called What If together, but he was on vacation. This week, I think we're going to have a story about something or another on there. So come see us on What If on Wednesdays. But we also got a good segment. I love it, Pete, and I love his channel. We got pickups because I've always missed them, and I just remembered we have pickups. So, Pete, if you could,
I don't
could
got
you give
any.
not you. Could you give him the big screen? I actually got to go.
Oh, give him the big screen. Oh,
Yeah,
I
all
thought you were telling me to do pickups.
So I got lucky. I have one, but I did pick up a little nicer copy. It's got a little bit
nice.
of, and for $5, I mean, I can't hardly,
Yeah.
No.
turn that down. My other one's pretty beat. So this one's got some issues for sure. I mean, bottom corner and some spine ticks, but nothing like my other one. I was able to score a nice one of these.
Oh yeah.
Oh, check that
I
out.
always keep my eye out for that one. That's
Is it a
that's
nerd box or
Hmm.
whatever? it was?
yeah, I bought
Comic
it
Con
off
box
Whatnot.
or something.
Yeah, it was a Comic Con box, but
That's what
from
it's
that
called.
Comic Con. But I was able to pick that up on a Whatnot auction for decent,
Nice.
and yeah, I was happy to grab one of those. So I always kind of keep my eye out for that book. That's not one that you see too terribly often.
All right, JJ, we got some. JJ's got a couple of the Walmart packs, and
Yeah.
we know people love them.
Star Wars relevant Walmart packs.
He's gonna
so,
open them up real quickly.
yeah. My brother likes this segment, so I haven't seen what's in them yet, so we're gonna find out
Yeah.
together.
Yeah,
Dark
the
Horse one in
pre-cut was just
1,000.
done to expedite the process.
So right there.
That's
obviously the one that comes-
I don't have that
Yeah,
one.
it is.
The one you know you're getting.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got a little Fantastic Four. What is this? Third print? Second print.
Ah,
Fantastic
yeah.
Four #1.
I
Yeah.
bought it. I mean, that's
And the-
fair, but
Cool.
Blank cover. I actually kind of like this. Blank cover for Black Knight, Christy Ebony Blade. So
That's not a regular, is it?
I don't know. It
'Cause
says
they
variant
started doing
edition.
like the colored blank covers. They
The
started
UPC's
making
on the
those
back,
in
which is weird.
yeah, I thought the blank colored covers were normally like a 1 in 10 or a 1 in 25.
Yeah,
So that might be
Maybe
a
it's-
ratio variant. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll
I
double
don't-
check that.
I'm probably not gonna know enough about these variants to know unless it's like a book I follow. So.
Well, I do have that book. I got all the 1 in 25s that connect for that.
I don't think that was a ratio variant because wasn't the only ratio variants for that the Hans ones?
Which one was it? Show again.
Like,
The
Black Knight,
cover.
Curse of Ebony Blade, like all black.
Hmm.
Maybe it's a store exclusive or something.
Yeah, maybe
No.
nothing.
I'll bet that's a tough one to
That's
get
cool.
in the 9.8.
Yeah,
Holy
it's
cow.
actually kind of cardstock though. It's kind of a
Yeah,
thick
no,
cover.
it looks like it's just regular. It looks like it's just regular. Priced at least. Nobody's pricing it like it's a.
All right, so
anything.
obviously we got that one again.
Oh, nice. 2 of those.
So too, yeah, didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
This just looks like a regular copy of Cable 10. So bummer.
Yay!
Yeah.
Just write
And
1 in
then-
1,000 on the bottom of it.
This looks like the Black History Month variant of Iron Man 6. So
Okay.
strike out on those Walmart packs.
So what's the blue? The blue Thor
Oh.
blank is 1 in 1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of them like I knew some of those were the colored,
Yeah,
blanks.
the blue Thor one. So you just threw $22 down the drain. Good job.
Yeah,
All right.
woo!
Congratulations.
I did have one slab real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. What do you got?
Show
I
off.
do like that cover though. That
So
bounty
this-
hunter cover.
This one's a little bit rare. This is Dr. Afra #1. It's
Dude, that's dope.
Sarah
Wow.
Pacelli.
Mhm.
Is it Pacelli? Is that how you say her last name? I'm not good with artist names.
You literally are asking us on this show how to pronounce the last name.
Anyways, this is Dr. Afra #1, and this version was the virgin version was listed to I think 1 in 500. So pretty rare.
That's a dope cover. Good book.
That is.
9.6 too.
Yep.
I went to
Yeah,
another.
unfortunately, didn't get the 9.8, but paid a good price
That's all
for
right.
it.
That's a book you just get no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9.6 is still. I mean, that's all day. That's still new mint.
I went to another cards and comic shops. Guess what they didn't have there?
Cards.
Cards.
Well, they
Comics.
had plenty of cards.
Had no comics.
Awesome. Wait. I'm
Really
like in a full suit. I'm in a full suit, swinging in there, patent leather shoes rolling, vest hanging out. Where are the comics? We don't have comics. It's called Cards and Comics, correct? Oh yeah. Well, do you
Maybe
know
they meant
how
like
expensive it is to get
guys that
Diamond
do
comics?
comedy routines or something.
No, it was not. All they had was like board game and like
Yeah,
Magic.
I had no luck when I was away either. I was down in Delaware. I hit 3 shops, but 2 of the
I did
shops
get
had nothing.
one other one I'll just show because I got it right here.
Hmm.
You don't have to make it big if you don't want. I just didn't know it existed. We were talking about Dark Source for it. So this is, I don't know if I can put it close enough that anybody read it.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a
Oh, yeah,
newsstand
newsstand.
version of Boba Fett is Dead there,
Cool.
#1. This is a Dark Horse special. So I didn't even know that had a newsstand for that cover.
It
does.
Nice. All right, so we're gonna do another segment called "Same is Same." This actually, me and JJ are kind of playing off of each other today. We're gonna do the what if or the what's that one segment you called the run segment we're doing with you?
Oh, the odds and trap.
Odds and trap. But we're gonna do a little intro to the odds and trap because it kind of plays off of it. So same is same. I just almost invited the entire chat to come onto the show. That's amazing. Good job. The share button and the invite screen are right next to each other. That would have been fun.
First to make it.
Everyone.
Everyone, come on in. Let's see if we can crash it.
First
All right.
spin free.
As the title kind of gave away on it, like same story, same writer, same week, different artist, different title. Are we okay with that? Obviously, Andy from what's his channel? It's
Comic
called
Man Andy.
Comic Man Andy is not okay with it, and I kind of agree with them. But Charles Soule here, one of the writers we actually do kind of respect, had this out there, and at first I was like, yeah, that's cool, but then I was like, is it though? And he was saying quite a Star Wars day. He's talking about the Wednesday with him for him. 2 issues, The War of Bounty Hunters and Star Wars 6 came out at the same time. He just announced the Crimson Regime, which is going to be apparently War of Bounty Hunters is part 1 of the Kara trilogy. So there's going to be 3 of these. JJ will get more into that later. But what I want to talk about was the first part. As you know, we didn't review Star Wars 16. We only did Bounty Hunters. There's kind of a reason why. I just pulled some of these panels out this week. If you could tell me which book, which panel came from, because it's the exact same story. Some of the same, actually, even word bubbles in this. To the point, like, I mean, he says Skywalker, Skywalker. I feel Luke.
I can tell you by the art, but I can't tell you. Like, if I hadn't seen either book and the artist for either book, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
And
I can only tell you now because we talked about the colors being bright on War of the Bounty Hunters.
Right. But I mean, this was 6 pages, but in each book there was just this week there was 8 pages that were almost identical. You know, the artwork obviously was a little bit different, but the verbiage was the same.
Of the book.
Yeah, dude, it was bad.
Exactly the same.
It was really bad. There was some like 20 some panels. Like, it's kind of tough, and like at $5 a book. And then this was like the month before. One of these is Dr. Afra, and the other one was the War of the Bounty Hunter. It's the exact same thing. Like, what are we doing? And that was just one. I didn't just want to do 50 of these pages or whatever, you know, to keep doing it. So it kind of, you know, it goes up to the question back here. Like, I know he's bragging.
Piece though on the right.
Yeah. I know he's
to
bragging.
be fair, on the last one that crossed over, the Dr. Afra and the War of the Bounty Hunters, Soule is not the writer for Afra.
He is not. No, he isn't. But I was using that as an example of, like, even when he puts out like the War of Bounty Hunter 1, there's a lot of the similar stuff that happened in, I can't remember which book it was. It might have been Vader. There was 1 or 2 that, or maybe it was Star Wars that week too, where it crossed over way too much. Then even in Afra, the books that he's not even writing on, they're using the actual same scenes and the same writing on those books. And it's like, man, dude, you're telling me I'm paying $10 to get the, you know, like a little bit different of art.
I
So you get a
wholeheartedly
text, might have a
agree.
point there.
I wholeheartedly agree. Like, it's too much. When you go too much, it's just too much of the same print, same story, same two different books. You're paying for both of these things, and they have over half of the same story. That's a ripoff. But
so the question
playing
I
devil's
have,
advocate, you go watch Rogue One, and the last 5-10 minutes is a lead up, and then enters into episode 4. So when you're in the movie theater and you're watching that, we're all like, dude, that was awesome. Did you see the way that rolled right into episode 4 and that was so stellar?
yeah,
I get the comic book
Different
controversy,
media.
and I'm 100% on board. But I think
those are also
maybe
years
reaching for
apart.
that feeling again.
Not only years apart, you're talking about, like your point, 5 minutes out of a 2-hour movie as opposed to 8 pages of a 22-page comic.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, go ahead.
I was about to say, I'll play devil's advocate a little bit in the fact that I wonder how much of it, first off, is editor control versus like somebody like Soul, who's the writer. Because I wonder, because of the same thing that happened with the Dr. Aphra book, I wonder if it's a concentrated effort from Marvel to be like, hey, when you do this crossover, tie this in really closely as much as possible.
There's a different way to do it. You can tie it in by doing.
I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying, I wonder.
You can show the same panels from a different character's perspective. Like you could do the same pages in the same situation again from a different perspective. But this is straight up. This is the same thing.
Yeah.
Almost as if both artists were given the same script to work off of. Like, here you go.
Well, that's why I wonder almost if they were. If the editor was like, this is what you're drawing, more or less.
Yeah, the verbiage is like almost. I mean, he's even got the banners hanging. It's almost the exact same verbiage. I mean,
the verbiage could be fine, but again, it's just the if you change like it from a different perspective, it could be different, like a Tarantino movie or something. But
and I don't. So I only gave this one for Aphra at the end, but there was a bunch of the same. Once again, there was over a dozen of the same panels that were the same. Like, I don't mind if you do this at the end to link the two books together. Okay, I could see that from a different point of view. One's from, Boba's point of view. The other one is from Aphra down there where she's hiding's point of view. I get that. That's okay if you do one of these, like Solo said at the end of Rogue One. But these came out the same week, and it's not one page or one panel. You're talking about like
half a book,
almost half a book.
That's just too much.
You brought the Aphra thing. Like, look at the Aphra one. If you would have done that same shot from the perspective of like one of the troopers looking over Vader's shoulder and you see Aphra's reaction, it's the same scene. You can have the same text, but it'll feel like a different experience if you do it from a different vantage point.
By the way, I forgot to bring it up in the reviews. Why are those Death Troopers there? Like, I guess they're there to protect Vader, but like literally somebody pulls out two like electrostaffs or whatever and goes at Vader and they don't do anything.
Yeah, later on, right?
Yeah.
You don't even see them. Right, yeah. So
they were monitoring the perimeter.
Sharing is caring. I don't know. It's just something it's just something I think we were talking about in the background, and I was like, I can't. I kind of been mentioning it before, but Jedi had a big part of this. Like, he's like, you're not even going to bring up Star Wars 13. I was like, Jedi, it's the same. It's literally.
Well,
I mean, there's a couple scenes where Luke's flying, but besides that, like, it's the same book. Like, I just can't do that. So,
well, the other, again, playing a little bit of devil's advocate, but as far as this, like, haven't we seen this in other books before? Is it that we haven't seen it in Star Wars comics, and that's why we're a little bit upset about it?
Maybe,
or because I don't feel like it's an uncommon tactic in comics. It's just we haven't seen it with Star Wars comics.
No, but usually the main crossover title and like like you don't usually get the guy writing the main book for the crossover and his sub book, the main book he has for the series book that he has, right on the same week. I think if he wouldn't have put that tweet out there and had these two books come out at the same time, I don't know if it would have been as
I
bad.
said the same thing. Again, this was the Aphra book, and I said the same thing when the Aphra book came out, that a lot of the pages were the same.
Yeah, but I think we gave it a pass there. Now when you're tweeting about how great it is, it ain't that great, bro.
Well, it's great for him. He makes money.
Yeah, you got 2 checks for the same work.
Yeah, but then the problem I worry about is with the Crimson stuff coming up, because you're going to get into it a little bit, and it looks real cool. But are you going to do that, and you're going to still have that crossover to Star Wars? Because I definitely don't want that crossing over the Star Wars title. They need to do something with Star Wars title. Either drop it, which they're not going to do,
No, they're not going to do.
or
Hey,
go
you
ahead.
know what? Remember the days when they used to do these events? It just happened in the title itself. You didn't have to have a separate War of the Bounty Hunters title. They could just been the War of the Bounty Hunter story that played out in the regular Star Wars.
I kind of feel like
Vader
that's
Down.
That's what I was going to say.
Well, they had Vader Down had tie-ins too, but the problem was that was just one shot, and then you had one tie-in from each title, and that's it.
But that's what I think Pete's kind of talking about.
Yeah.
Give us the one shot.
Back in the old days, just like Armor Wars.
Armor Wars.
He's talking about when it's just miniseries.
It wasn't a separate, mini that event book that everybody had to have. It just happened in the Iron Man title.
I think that's kind of what the upcoming one's going to be, because I haven't heard them like have a whole bunch of tie-in issues or anything like that. So
that's the only part that worried me was like he was texting about that, and then he brought that new one up, and we see this going down in the same week where you're writing. I mean, it's the same book. I mean, this was just it was the same book.
And he's done it more than once. I mean,
except for by the way,
Vader, and then the two this week, so that we've seen too many that have done it. It's the crossover. I don't mind a small, like just like Pete was saying, reiteration. I don't mind a small crossover, but when you got these 4 and 5, 6 books and they're all tying in together at the same time, and you just start repeating the same stuff for half a book, you're going to turn off fans. You're going to lose sales. There's too many covers out there already. They're putting out 4 or 5 covers per book. It's getting overwhelming for collectors and Star Wars fans, and you're just going to turn them off to it.
Well, they're also trying to roll where they're trying to roll it where they bring out a new character every single book too, so that you get a first appearance. Joe's got a good point though. If you would have just had one crossover with each of the books, right? Then you do the one shots in the main title. I think we would have been done. I don't think we needed every single week to have 2 or 3 books go. I mean, because there's that one week where I think it was Star Wars, Afra. It was 3 books, and 3 books were the exact same. I mean, you can't do that, bud. Anyways, I just figured we'd put that out there.
I feel like we're granted it's his overarching story, but I feel like we're kind of unfairly blaming Soul a little bit for everything being so similar. He doesn't write all those books and all those different titles, and he doesn't do the art for all of them either.
Well,
he does 2, but he only does 2 of them.
The 2 scripts he turned in had a few pages that were the exact same type.
Probably
so. He just copied and pasted. Like he knew what he did.
Yeah, you know.
You can't blame him like for the After book.
No, but my problem with it is are you going to do it again? Are you going to do it again with the next one? And then are you going to do it with the third part? Yeah, I know you are.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're all going to be tied in like that. That's
what I'm the same place. Like, oh look, this page is the same.
That's why my thing is more of a Marvel thing than it is a Charles Soule thing, because I think they're all going to tie in that way from here to the end of the
agreed. But he's out there. Only thing to knock him for it. I agree with you 100%. Whoever the editor on that, shame on you. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't have done it. But you also shouldn't go on Twitter and say how great it is that you wrote one book and they printed it twice and cash me in with that money. And I'm going to do it to you again.
I'm not saying it's all his fault either.
What's going on, Jamie?
You're all fired.
And I do wonder about the release schedule a little bit, as whether or not these were all supposed to be released.
Soul, get in here.
Yeah.
Well, I release them on the same week, and you're like, wait a second. I felt like I read this issue 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. When I read this week, when I was going through it, I know, and you guys know, because you're in the chat, I was so mad at having bought 2 of the same book. Because I was Star Wars, War Bounty was just the same book.
Comic Man Andy lost it. He melted on this channel. I was watching it, and he was losing it. And with every right, just like you, Marco, when you were losing it, I was kind of chuckling, and with every right. I agree. It's just we work hard for our money. We do a lot of stuff, and to buy the same book twice is kind of a.
I waste my time reading it though. I'm like reading the same thing, going like, "Holy stupid." Anyways,
kicking the Wookiees.
Yeah, we'll move it on.
It's not even a waste of time reading, because then you got to double check to make sure you're not crazy, and you have to go dig out and find the other book.
That's what I did.
By reading the right book.
Yeah, it's the right one.
All of a sudden, it's a whole project you spent 20 minutes on going.
Well, because with me too, I read them in. I take the previews book and I put the book in there so my fingers aren't touching the pages and stuff. So I did have to do what Pete described is exactly what I did. No, I don't wear.
I'll say this much though: if this is my only complaint at the end of a giant Marvel miniseries in Star Wars, I'll be a little bit happy.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it probably
That
won't
the
be
story didn't suck, or the tie-in didn't suck.
Yeah, I mean, I actually the one shots I think they're doing a great job on. The only issue that I worry is that it seems like the books are doing really well, which is good, but at the same point, like not good because
Well,
you're doing the
the
Yeah.
one shots are why I question the release schedule, because you had the Jabba the Hutt one shot, which took place way back in the alpha, and I was like, I don't even remember what happened in the alpha issue. Like that was like 2 months
that
ago.
this one too. Well, same thing with the Boosh thing or whatever they were about to do.
Yeah.
Remember that happened like that was a while. Yeah, it's
Think
like,
weird.
I
of
don't
the
remember
War of the
that.
Bounty Hunters omnibus you'll be buying down the line. Wait a second.
No,
They just
no shot.
reprinted the same pages again.
Yeah. Could you imagine that when you buy the omnibus? It's literally you're gonna have the same story back to back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be a mess. Oh, that's gonna be a
Oh,
mess.
that's brutal.
All right. Well, let's get into the last segment. The segment everybody comes for. It's a trap with JJ and the rest of us screaming that it's always agreeing on what it is. All right.
Always.
No,
always
no, not always.
It's an elaborate ruse.
All right.
I'm feeling there'll be disagreement on this one, maybe, but
Okay.
or maybe not. I don't know. But
We'll see.
okay, so the question here is: so we got some again to rehash a little bit. New comic series was announced, miniseries,
By
Crimson
Saul.
Rain.
Mhm.
So we know it's going to start curing and everything. But there were on the cover of that there were a couple
Chocolate Rain.
characters, and people were wondering, are these new characters? Well, they're not so new. So the question is, they're also related to the Disney sequels. So is Disney doing a do-over of basically kind of their do-over or rehash? So are they redoing their redo? Next slide for me.
Redo the redo.
Redo the redo.
Yes.
Okay, so basically, the angle I took on this is the Knights of Ren were horribly underutilized or killed off way too soon. Basically, spoiler alert. And, and Rise of the Skywalker, like they didn't do for as intimidating as they were supposed to be. They didn't do anything that was very intimidating, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So-
they did nothing.
We got them, and then they got killed off, and then we never saw them again. So, hit the next slide for me. But in Charles Soule, who we just raked over the coals, had a mini-series, a true mini-series called The Rise of Kylo Ren. And in that was basically Kylo Ren's backstory. And in it was also kind of the backstory of the Knights of Ren, which you had an actual guy named Ren was in charge of the Knights of Ren. He was the trainer, and he used what he called it the Shadow, which the Shadow, at least in the series to me, basically seemed like the dark side. But his first appearance there is obviously in the first issue of The Rise of Kylo Ren. And I thought this was actually a really good miniseries and done in the way a miniseries is supposed to be without 800 million tie-ins.
And without a bunch of hype, this number one sold quick, fast, and in a hurry. Like
It did get
people-
4 printings, though. So
Yeah, it did get 4
it
printings.
sold very well. And the series did very well. And actually, the series was really good. But yeah. So basically, though, the way the story goes, Ren has a chance meeting with, and he's actually with Luke Skywalker at the time. So Ben Solo and Luke Skywalker kind of face off against Ren and the Knights of Ren. And they don't really face off so much as Ren basically backs off, but he leaves a helmet behind and says, one day you're going to come looking for me, Ben Solo. And when you do, I'll be there. And eventually, once the Jedi Temple is destroyed and Ben's kind of blamed for the destruction of that, he goes back to find this helmet, and he finds that he can still contact Ren through the helmet. And at that point, Snoke says you should go to Ren and learn the ways of the Knights of Ren, or join the Knights of Ren.
Mhm.
So Ren says once Ben becomes that, he initially accepts him into the order, but then at the same time, once they actually start facing off against 3 former Jedi that Ben Solo knew, Ren was like, this is not the life for you. Like, I can see your conflict, and I can see you're not turning yourself to the dark side like you're supposed to be. So basically they fight each other, and it ends in Ren's death. You don't really see him die. All you do is see him take a lightsaber to the chest, which we all know in Star Wars is not always death. But he could come back like 3 times like Darth Maul does. But eventually, that's how Ben Solo becomes Kylo Ren, and he assumes the leadership of the Knights of Ren. But, next slide for me. With this new comic series coming up, Crimson Rain, it's supposed to be about the backstory of Kira. But interestingly, on the cover, there was a couple characters we know because we went over Death Sticks not too long ago.
Mhm.
There's also, is it Chanta Chu?
Chantachu.
But she's a bounty hunter that came up in the Lando miniseries.
Uh-huh.
But there's also
I did
Rin,
too.
who we had not seen since Charles Soule's last miniseries,
Mm-hmm.
The Rise of Kylo Ren. Which begs the question to me. There's been a lot of talk lately on the interwebs about whether or not Disney will kind of do a rehash or a redo of the sequels. So this got me to thinking, with them including this character in an upcoming series that's supposed to take place, as Charles Soule told it, it's a trilogy actually. So there's War of the Bounty Hunters, and then it's Kira's story and Crimson Reign, and then there's one more part after that we don't know about, and it's supposed to take place like between 5, 6, and 7 as far as the timeline goes. So that begs the question at the end. Next slide for me.
Mm-hmm.
Will we see the inclusion of Rin being such a key character, at least to the establishment of the Knights of Ren and Rise of Skywalker? Is this doing a retcon, or maybe like some sort of prequel story to the sequel or something like that, in order to basically go back over and redo the mess, so to speak, that they had in the sequels? So if you're on Never Tell Me the Odds, you're super in favor of the retcon, and you want to get rid of the sequels all the way, and you think this is the way they're going to do it, is maybe through retcons and comics and other media. Because let's face it, they're not going to reshoot 3 films.
No, they're not.
No.
They're going to do it this way if they're going to do it. And the other way is it's a trap where, basically this is just going to fit in kind of like the Rise of Kylo Ren did, where it's just, going to be a story layered in there in between. And it's the way they've always done with stuff with Star Wars, and this is no different.
So there's an interesting thing. But, I mean, I'd love to hear your guys' opinion on it, because
I got a good one for you.
Go ahead, Pete. Go for it.
Well, here's my first one for you. I got a little character that you guys might remember from the movies. They didn't really give you much of him in the movies either. He also had a pretty crappy death, but they kind of built him out later through, stories, books. Little Boba Fett. Like, in the movies itself, you don't get a lot of Boba Fett. He goes down like a goof in Jedi. So you can shut down that the Knights of Ren went down.
Boba Fett? Where's Boba Fett?
Yeah, exactly. Whoa, he gets bumped into and flies into the Sarlacc pit. But they built him out as to be a character to be feared through other mediums and other stories. So they could be doing that. So I'm on the favor of Never Tell Me the Odds. Not so much that they're, I guess it's kind of a retcon, but they're also just building out the characters. Hey, we messed up. We should have given you more. We should have given you guys a lot more, but we didn't. We decided to focus in on some other dumb stuff instead. But it's not the first time. I mean,
so
how
you
much
guys
Trade Federation nonsense did we focus on in the prequels instead of covering the better stuff?
I think it's a full-on Never Tell Me the Odds. I think Disney realizes how horribly bad they have offended the fans in doing 7, 8, 9. I'm really, really trying to give it my all to get back into 7, 8, 9 and watch them more and get more involved with them and get more familiar with them. I even took a nap through 8 and 9. Watched 8 and 9 today, and it's hard, man. It is tough. I understand where they were going, and they did what they had to do. I think just exactly, and even after watching them today, I think the only way they fix them is to retcon them and add to them and give more of the story to make the story that they hashed out relevant. And that's the only way that they're going to pass it off in any way, shape, or form to be accepted by the fans. I honestly would rather see them wipe all 3 of them and start over. But we know, just like JJ said, they're never going to do it.
All right.
I think it's 100% Never Tell Me the Odds.
So it's a trap, and this is why. What happened was, originally they were going to make the last story. It was each part of the stories, and the prequels were supposed to be. One was Han's story. He ends up dying or whatever. The other was Luke, and the last one was going to be Leia. Unfortunately, we lost a great actress. She passed away ahead of time. There's a novel called Bloodlines. Okay, I don't know if you guys read that novel. Great novel. It's about Leia and Han Solo and baby Kylo Ren. In that novel, there's a group of street kids that go out to try to find Darth Vader's artifacts. these kids were presumably turning into, it was going to be the story for the break. By the way, this was going to be a 3-part series that Bloodlines is going to have. It's going to be Bloodlines, like Family Ties, and something else. But either way, it gives you the, huh? Yeah, something to that effect. But in there, they do a mini section where they start talking about these street kids. And these street kids pretty much are going by and getting all the dark side artifacts that they can find after the fall of the Empire. Actually, it's how they get Darth Vader's mask. It's actually how Kylo Ren supposedly was going to get it down the way. This is actually a canonized book. When she died, and they no longer made that, because they decided, which was the stupidest move, in my opinion, they ever could have done. They decided not to use her in the movie and keep that rhythm going. They also could no longer use the canonization of the books, and they stopped the books that were supposed to be all out there. I think this was finally them fixing it, as in finding a way how to tell the rest of the story of the Knights of Ren. That character, Ren, in the book actually starts off as a scared person. They don't say it's him because they only said that his name's Ren, but if you go back and read Bloodlines, that's him because he's scarred in there and everything like that. But he was like a scared street kid that wasn't going to take over and ends up killing somebody because he likes the girl and then ends up going to the dark side for the artifacts. It's really cool, and it had a lot of potential. And I think finally they're just like, hey, okay, enough time's passed. Those movies are what they are. We did have this cool part. Let's just finish fleshing it out. And I think they're going to give it to Soul to finish fleshing it out, which is kind of nice because they gave it to him in the Kylo Ren book. And I know when that Kylo Ren 1 book came out, a lot of us were like, sweet, because guess when Bloodlines came out? Right before that. And everybody's like, this is that character, awesome. Like, let's get the in-betweens there. The only problem is, what's her name passed away, and then they stopped it. So hopefully,
like an old man in the comic. That looks like James.
Yeah. He's older in the comics, right? But he's still a teenager street kid. Like Kylo Ren's a baby. Like Kylo Ren's 1 year old.
Yeah,
he's a street kid. So if he's in his teens, then or whatever 20s, yeah, sure, he looks.
Oh, so like a Sam Rockwell in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle street kid, not like a little kid.
Oh no. These are they're like 20-year-olds that got lost because they couldn't join the Empire to fight anymore, and their families were displaced, and it was like that type of the part of the storyline, which they started doing some of that. You've seen a lot of that repopulation where people were like questioning if the Empire was better or not. That was part of it too. But these kids just were like, when I'm saying kids, I mean
I was thinking little. When you were saying street kids, I was thinking like little, like smaller kids.
But Marco, kid means somebody that would be younger than.
yeah. Somebody, yeah. No, but like you're
like a 30-year-old.
Yeah, it's a bunch of guys and girls running around the streets doing nefarious stuff. So like and you're 20, you're out there drinking in your 20s or whatever and doing dumb shit.
Star Wars hooligans.
Yeah, it is.
I'm about to yell at a 36-year-old on my lawn right now.
See? There's a kid
wait. That's my girlfriend. Never mind.
Yeah. So I don't think they're retconning. I think they're finally figuring out like that is something. I mean, that is, if you remember how fast Kylo Ren sold and went to 4th printings, it wasn't a speculation market that drew that, right? Some of the other ones, like this during the series, it was
as far as first appearance goes, no, but it was popular, I think, because it was the backstory of Kylo Ren. You didn't get it in the movie.
A little bit. Yeah, that was part of it too. But I think also when people had heard, because you could actually get it the first 2 weeks, but when people heard that Ren was in there, then people, which is part of the backstory too, I guess.
I guess
but
going off of that angle, then I'm not really saying then it's never telling the odds, I guess, because it's not really a retcon. It is just more material because they didn't give us much to begin with to retcon it.
That's it. And they're not going to write.
I got to look at it. If I look at it that way, then I guess it is not. It's a trap because it's not that they're changing what happened. It's just they never really told us much to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, they're not finishing the Bloodline books because of what happened with Leia, because then they had to change around what happened with Leia and all in the 2 movies. So they're just not doing that. But you still had to pull out the Knights of Ren. And that's why it sucked, because the Knights of Ren, if you would have got this backstory of how they're like it's really cool. Like, so the Ren character, now I'm not saying it's the Ren character because they haven't called him Ren yet, but he's the dude that's got that red lightsaber. He finds the red lightsaber in a couple of the other Sith artifacts and leads a group of 20-somethings around to get the rest of the artifacts. Like, his story in that bloodline is real cool. And you could see it developing into making the Knights of Ren relevant, and they'd be badass by the time you saw them on the screen. So you'd have the backstory and everything would be ready there, and it would set up a lot better. So that's why I'm going with It's a Trap.
Didn't you and I do a review of Kylo Ren, the books? like one of the second or third shows, fourth show,
Maybe.
10th show. I don't know. One of those early shows.
I probably mentioned
you
Bloodlines.
and I did a review of the Kylo Ren series.
Yeah, and I probably said Bloodlines then too, because that's who that character was supposed to be. And like, it's cool. So I'm super stoked as long as he doesn't also put him in Star Wars. Like, I don't want to see it in I want to see
super stoked on the guy I just ripped on.
I didn't know. Well, I'm saying I like his stuff. Like Kylo Ren book. I like a lot of the series that he's written before. I'm just saying I don't want that. I don't want that. This is why I'm nervous, right? Like I kind of said it. I'm really nervous because I really want to catch that. Like you saw Destix was there too. Can you imagine if this forms out where they start doing one shots out of that? Where you get the one-shot backstory of what happened after Bloodlines and how it got the Knights of Ren to a point where he's training Kylo Ren. Like, how cool would that be? Is it cool when we can go back and we can see how Destix got to the point where she's hunting down Balance?
That's what I'm saying as far as Never Tell Me the Odds. Maybe I'm misunderstanding it. I think they're going to have to go back and do a lot of this information, a lot of these storylines, a lot of this in-betweens to retcon and help tell the last three sequels so that they make more sense and they have more relevance and they're easier to accept because of the other little snippets that
right when I hear retcon it sounds like they're changing stuff. They're not changing, they're finishing off what they started.
I meant
retcon. I think Marco
swayed
me to join the blue side.
Welcome to the
by retcon I meant more like a Donny Cates retcon where like they'll change it and doesn't matter, I guess, is the second question. But
you mean like a Snyder cut? They're not going to do a Snyder cut.
Oh Jesus!
No.
Joe goes here says this.
We were
one reason, no, and then you're doing Snyder cut.
So I do have one follow-up question to all this. In your guys' opinion, so this is part 2. We know is coming up. So what do we think part 3 will be about? Because he didn't tell us that. He just told us it was part 2 of a trilogy.
I wonder. I wonder if So this is what I wonder because I see those characters there, right? Like, I'll pull it back up. Let's pull back up the cover.
But there's kind of a mishmash of scoundrel type characters there.
It is.
You have Destic, you got Ren, you got Chantashu.
Chantashu, we want a backstory for. We definitely want the Destic's backstory for. We want the Ren backstory for. Right? Is this not disagreement here?
You also got Afra and everybody else.
And we also want Kira's, like, what has she been doing since the Solo? What has she been doing since Solo thing? So I think hopefully we're going to get a little bit of they're showing what it goes into after, because I know they have Vader there, but how far much forward are we going to go with that after it passes? So she might be recruiting these characters and we get to see their backstories. Hopefully that's what happens.
We're still in the Empire to Jedi range, right? Like as far as the comics
Scott, there's no.
Yes. You're going. Well, we don't know where the question, Pete. You're going with my question.
What's that?
I can feel it.
Was
no,
I don't know where the
third
part is going to go.
The era we're in right now with this stuff. It's between Empire and Jedi.
Yes,
and then we potentially will get the post Jedi stories later. So
yes, which may be the third part of the trilogy.
So exactly. So you're thinking about that. Like,
I think we're gonna get the. I think it's going to be what she's been up to. I think we're going to get, so it's where she at during this period, where she been between
you got
Solo and here, and then how she dies. That's it. That's what we're getting.
The second part of that same follow-up question is, do you think this is less of a redux of the sequels? Because this is what I thought as I was finishing this thing. Is the sequels probably won't be involved at all, even though Ren's there, is my thought. I think Solo is using Ren because he knows that character well, because he created him more or less. But this is actually the end of the Solo trilogy. Remember, Solo was supposed to be a trilogy. Those movies were. And it never panned out that way.
But listen to it. Ren had, because of Bloodlines, when that character shows up not as Ren, that has a direct tie. The tie of Bloodlines was literally the Leia Han Solo story about what Han Solo was doing with Leia. And he goes on some special trip and runs into an old friend, mind you. And at the same time, it tells you about baby Kylo Ren. So I think that's where we could get our endpoint, where Solo goes out and heroes.
You're missing my point. I don't think Bloodlines will be involved at all. I think he's going to go. I think Solo's taking more in the direction of where that Solo trilogy that was focused on
going to go.
Solo and Kira was supposed to go.
Yeah, That's
So this
possible.
is so weird because then I guess if it's canon, because
Oh, yeah, I think it's official.
you have Prince Shizor, who is part of the Black Sun. So if they're going to do a trilogy of this, that timeline is so. They're going to basically just erase all of that then.
No, what I'm
They're
saying
never
is,
going to even talk about Shadow of the Empire.
no, they are. I think this is where this is going to go back to, because this is where you get Shadow of the Empire is in between after the Soul thing. What I'm, or not Shadow of the Empire. What's the group that she was with Maul?
Crimson Dawn.
Crimson Dawn.
Yeah.
So I think what they're doing is they're taking all those little pieces, like the Solo trilogy that never got finished, the Bloodlines that never got finished, and that little inner port where that was supposed to be a breakthrough of what the third movie was supposed to be. And I think they're going to finish up all those things right here. This is what they're going to do with this: is finish it all up, and you can tie her together to use it. Because why else do you have Death Sticks, Ren, and what's his name? What's her name? Shushu.
That's a shoe.
Shushu.
I don't know how to say it. I've
Yeah.
I've only seen it in print. I've never heard it in audio
Yeah.
or anything. So I have no
Lando
idea.
number 2, by the way, if you guys are looking for that.
Gesundheit. That's her
thank
name.
you.
Gesundheit.
Yeah, but my point is, why do you have those characters? And I know it's because it's a Soul thing with right? Soul did Lando too, didn't he?
I think he did, but he didn't do the book that Destic was in.
He
I don't
didn't,
think
but
he didn't do Bounty Hunters, right?
well, she showed up in the War of the Bounty Hunter, so
Well, yeah,
same shit.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, we might get the gay Black Panther twins again, maybe.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, we could because he
yeah.
did those.
So,
But
Yeah.
I'll say one last thing too. So the writer for Bloodlines is Claudia Gray, who disappointingly never ever gets to write a comic. And if they ever expand that story out, I would love for her to do the comic.
I would too.
Yeah.
She
She's a
arguably
great writer for Star Wars.
not just that, she's the only person I've ever seen Leia like it. She writes Leia as you, as a Star Wars fan, would expect Leia to be like. You hear Leia when you're reading it. Like when you read Gray's, I've seen other renditions of Leia and stuff. They just, for some reason, they don't get it. Like they don't get that. They don't get the like her in New Hope. They don't get her when she's talking to Luke, or the back and forth between her and Han. Never get it. Gray in that book, I'll always be a fan because of it.
Yep.
So, yeah, as long as we don't get any more Crimson variants. I know that was so. Look, they're not all hitting home runs on the stuff they're doing, like the Crimson variants and then the Soul thing.
I don't have any problem with the Crimson variant. I just want them to make it a different cover and not just turn it red.
Yeah, I agree.
Why?
Oh shit!
What if it was
All right.
Crimson Foil?
Yeah, pink it is.
Be
Yeah,
like
we should.
buying a Dynamic Forces book.
No, yeah.
It's a
If they did
foil
like
on it.
Dynamic Forces, if they did like the older Dynamic Forces book, I would have been down. That would have been cool. Like a red foil tin cover.
Mhm.
I'm all for it. All right, well, that's what we got for this week, folks. Anybody else? Did I miss something? I got all the sections right.
I think we got our segments in.
I
Right?
got them all in. Make sure you guys are over there at Renovision. Make sure you're subbing up. It's almost there. Plus, he's back
Almost.
from vacation. Check us out on Wednesdays over there, which is in a little bit. We're trying to figure out what we're going to do there. Tuesday is going to be a special Star Wars Ghost. Make sure you don't miss that over there.
Yep.
Over here, we've got obviously tomorrow's show. I think they're moving the schedule around. So I'm not going to say what that is.
Flagship.
Darth Lopez, he did get a one shot. General Hux.
Oh, he did.
Oh, he did
Remember?
get
a one
the
shot.
Age of the Rebellion.
Yeah, he did get a one
Resistance.
shot. Yep, Age of Resistance. Which I think is how that might play out the next series. Anyways, Friday, you've got the Hot 10, which is extra spicy hot the last couple weeks.
Mhm.
Good job, Ben. Stein's doing a great job over there with that.
Oh,
Saturday, MCM. Sunday is this show.
Us.
And you got Monday, the keynote show, of course. Go check
The
out the boys.
flagship.
Yep, go check them out over there. They do a great job. Tuesday, they're actually Tuesday's got comic book women, but also check out Nearing Nirvana. Make sure you guys are giving a like and a thumbs up over there for Jen and the other women that do that show. They do a great job.
Yeah, because they do that stuff on the weekend, right? Usually
Saturdays.
Saturdays. I knew it was on
Yeah.
Fridays.
Yeah,
Saturdays.
Saturday. And then we got Yee. Yee was just in here. He's got that little show that they do, the crosstalk with our boy.
I love
By
that.
the way-
That flip side, or I love that show, man. That's so.
By
much
the way,
fun.
we got so when you're done watching our show, you can go catch
Yeah,
that.
I can't watch it because I'm
Yeah.
doing our show.
Yeah, but Steve Horn is going to be coming around. We actually might have some Steve Horn news coming up here in a little bit that we're going to let you guys. We're going to hold off for you guys. So, all All right. Well, that's all we got for today. Let's do the exits. I'm in charge of exits too.
Yeah, you might as well be.
Thursday's been.